All right, so let's talk about imperialism in India to start today. So, India here, that includes modern day Pakistan, modern day Iran. It's going to be Bangladesh, Sri Lanka. It includes a ton of areas here. But let's remember, India is one of the most diverse places on the planet, both religiously and ethnically and linguistically. And up until now, yes, you'd had the Mughal Empire, but that was, in grand scheme of things, somewhat small. And the concept of being Indian really didn't exist yet. The concept of being a Hindu and a Muslim and every other ethnic group that's there. But the concept of being Indian really doesn't come about here until this time period. So let's get going. How did we get here? I want to start here. So the areas in purple that the British had under control in the early 1800s, and you can see here over time how that's going to get added. You only have Goa that's going to be left here under Portuguese control. But what you have is the British had slowly but surely taken over. How'd they get there? First, it is mainly due to the fact of two things. The first one, that the English East India Company, one of the examples of a concessionary company, had taken over and built port cities. And so they had made negotiations with the Mughal Empire saying, hey, what if we build Bombay and Calcutta as two good examples? And they got permission to build them, and it gets the trade started. And so India, in a lot of ways, the British are highly protective of India for trade. Then they have what's known as the doctrine of lapse. It's pretty simple. It's an agreement made with the kind of the princely states of India, and the English East India Company said, hey, if you fail to produce a biological male heir, we get your land. So we will take care of it. However, if you produce one, we'll continue to support them. And so this kept going. And so the doctrine of lapse was, when no male heir was there, we took over. And so by the mid 1800s, they controlled a ton of India, Pakistan, Bangladesh, Burma, and Sri Lanka. And what are they doing? They're trading all over the place. They're sending opium to China. There's high demand for Indian pepper and cotton back in the United Kingdom. Chinese silk and porcelain and fine spices from Southeast Asia are going through here. Taste for coffee is increasing, especially with the Ottomans. And now the Mughals are basically gone. The Mughals are gone, and India is under the control of the British. So one of the ways of how they kept control was the sepoys. The sepoys are soldiers that they hired. They're Indian troops who the English East India Company used to try to keep control. In 1857, there's going to be a rebellion, a mutiny that's going to start against them when they find out that the cartridges that they had to bite into to make work have cow and pig grease. Well, this isn't going to make the Hindus and the Muslims happy. And so this is not good for Hindus and Muslims. So the Hindus and Muslims will openly rebel. You do have other people who aren't happy with the British because they just had lost income, missionary activities, and social reforms aren't working as a whole. Well, what's going to happen with this is the British are going to put down this mutiny, which the Indians call the First War of Independence. And it's going to get put down. And the Mughal Empire is officially gone at this point. And the British are going to take direct power. They're going to set up a viceroy who's going to be the power of this area. And they set up the economy for export. The big way they do this, railroads. They're going to build railroads all over India. They are also going to bring in other new technologies like telegraphs are a big part of this, new canals, new harbors, irrigation systems, and they're also going to bring in English-style schooling. Now, kept Indian cultural traditions alive. What that means, remember that India was indirect rule, so the top of the government is still English, but as we move lower and lower down the governmental ranks, you'll see more and more people from the area. Now, there's obviously going to be significant pressure against this. The first person who's really going to be against this is the father of modern-day India, Ram Mohan Roy. Ram Mohan Roy is a Bengali intellectual. He wanted to construct society based on European science with Indian traditions and Hinduism. He was a devout Hindu. He wanted to improve the stature of women and bring in education and more property rights. And he starts to use newspapers and education to get his beliefs out there. At first, everyone kind of likes it. Upper caste Hindus and Muslims like it. There's call for self-government. They're starting to learn Enlightenment values from English education. And you start seeing more and more, hey, we need to have some self-rule ourselves. How can we get there? The Indian National Congress was formed in 1885 as a way to try to soften that a little bit, but it's more just a reform group. Can we reform within here? They aren't happy about the poverty rates, the transfer of wealth that's going on from the Indians to the British, and basically tariff and trade policies, the famine that's taking place, and just flat out British racism. And so they start to call for more and more self rule. But this gets to the point that, and eventually in 1909, India can elect its own local legislatures. But you also have a group of Muslims saying, wait a second here, the Hindus are going to just take over at this point. We need to make sure we have some say in this. So what they do is they are going to form the Muslim League, and the Indian National Congress, as time moves forward, will become more and more Hindu, and the Muslim League will represent Muslim beliefs. India is going to stay under British control through this time period, well past the First World War. They had sent sepoys to China to fight in the Opium Wars. There's sepoys that are going to continue fighting even in World War I.